operators, and here the most important point to be remembered is in operator precedence. So operator precedence is nothing but when you try to execute a mathematical expression in that, if you give objects, which if you put objects in parenthesis, that will be executed first, and then remaining objects will be executed based on the given operator precedence. Okay, the asterisk will have a highest operator precedence, then after that plus. If you give 1 plus 2 double asterisk 3, then the operation takes place, the first operation takes place between 2 power 3, means 8 plus 1 9. Like this it will happen, not like 1 plus 2 will takes place and it will become 3 and power 3 27. No. So this is operator precedence. The asterisk will, double asterisk will, that exponentiation operator will have highest precedence. But if you use parenthesis, then that is ultimate. After that, these things will be followed. That's what we talked here. And next what we discuss is, so what we have seen is operators. Now here we'll see Python expression operators and their precedents. Here we don't need to discuss each and everything, but just have a glimpse of it, what it is, just know the name so that you can use it later, because all those things are as of now are not required. Okay. First we will see our first on left side you can clearly see yield x. Yield is a keyword, x is any variable or anything. So what yield does, yield operator does is, so normally what happens in a function, take any function. When you are defining a function in the block level, after the semicolon in the block level, what you give is return this expression. Is it or not? Either return or print, then only it will gives. When you give return or print, it will give an object values. It will give an objects outside. But when you use yield, it won't give an object. It will give a generator. Generator is nothing but, for example, if you take range, when you type range will not give you, for example, if you type range from 1 to 10 and enter execute, it will not give you range from 1 to 10. That numbers it won't give, 1, 2, 2, 3, like that it won't give. That's called a generator. It will only generate object. If you want to convert that, then you have to give list of range of 1, 10, then it will give you a list of range between 1 to 10. So yield does the same thing. In functions, we use return or print. Similarly, we can use yield so that we can get a generator function protocol. Okay. Similarly, lambda in defining the functions, we can define arbitrary function with arbitrary names. Okay. Anonymous function generation. That's the simplest way. And remaining all things, those are the things which are not generally discussed. X or Y, logical. X and Y, logical and. Not X, logical. And these are all things by and large, don't need to discuss much. X plus Y, it is addition 1. X minus 1, subtraction. X times Y, multiplication. By and large, you know everything. But see, one more thing you have to focus is, most important thing you have to understand is, these are called expressions or literals. The bottommost, you see bottommost here, if you use curly bracket, what you get is dictionary or set and dictionary comprehensions. If you use square bracket, list. If you use tuple, these are all expressions which makes an object. not create. Create gives a different meaning, which makes an object. Okay, got it now? Clear? Here, see, x of I. X sub
indexing.
I will give you indexing. X sub I colon j colon k will give slicing. X of will call a function, method, class, or callable. X dot attribute. This gives a attribute to a reference. Means it talks about the state. Got it? If you add bracket after attribute, na, it becomes a method. Got it? Difference between a state and method. Got it? We have discussed. For example, I will tell you. Human Chaitanya is an object for us. Okay? Chaitanya height is 6 feet. Done? Now Chaitanya runs. He can run. Okay? Run is our method. Height is our attribute. Now Chaitanya is our object. Now when I say Chaitanya dot height, then I will get 6 feet. When I say Chaitanya dot run in bracket, if I mention some arguments, then it will get, okay, this work he does this way. Got the difference? Attribute is just a state or your nature, your height, weight, that, this. Whereas method does something. It does some work. Got it now? That's why for attribute we don't use callable bracket parenthesis. For method we use callable bracket. This difference you have to remember. This difference you have to remember because it will be very confusing when you are working. Clear now? So now numbers is clear, and then assignment and expressions are also clear. Core, what are the core types? Core type objects, that also we have seen. Now from numbers, in numbers what we have seen? Int, float, complex, set, fraction, decimal. Fraction and decimal are not core. Okay, these are the things we have seen. Boolean. Clear? So now we are entering into the strings. Yes. So now we are entering into the strings. So here it's as usual. This definition is very important. Just try to remember that. Not as a definition, but what is string? It is an ordered collection of characters used to store and represent the text-based information. So we have already discussed. Programming is not for the alien. Programming is for the for humans. Whatever you do, finally it should end up in a human hand. So that is the reason. Whatever way we communicate, same type of objects here also there. So first we have seen numerical type of objects. Now we are seeing text-based objects. And it is an ordered collection of characters. String is an ordered collection of characters that you remember. Now it is immutable sequence. It is also a sequence, but it is immutable. What is mutable? What is immutable? That also we'll see. But as of now, it is a immutable sequence. And the second thing is strings can be, I'm talking about the expression. What all you can use for expression? Either you can single quote, double quote, or triple quote. If you don't use quote, then the Python cannot understand it is string. That you remember. Of course, triple quote string is for the using block. What do you call that? Multi-line text. And most important thing I want to tell you is the above things by and large you know, but what you have to know is normal string is there, and similarly we have a raw string also. Raw string also. In a raw string, what you have to do is you see, normally we write what is the expression for the string, single quote or double quote or triple quote, put all the characters inside it. Is it or not?
Oh no.
Now for raw string, you have to use R before and follow the same expression. Why it is special? Why? Because in string we cannot put some special characters. Space you cannot put. Means if you give space, it don't consider it. It will leave it like that. And if you want to enter into new line, it is difficult. Yes or no? If you want to give tab space, it is difficult. For that we use some special characters to include these things. So that is the reason we are using \n for new line, \t for the tab. So now, for example, Chaitanya wants to enter path. Then how will you enter? Because when you give backslash, system Python will consider it as a special characters that you are using to do something in strings. So that is the reason they have also made a raw type string to suppress these escapes, so that you can actually keep the path like this. Got it? Clear? It should be clear. It is very important. That's why. Clear na?
ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు ఏమంటున్నావు ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్పు ఒకసారి.
See, normally, just a minute. Okay, so now if you see, for example, Chaitanya, this you can execute, you will get it as a Chaitanya. That's what the output you get. Yes or no?
నాకేం కనిపించట్లే.
Nothing is visible. I am sharing, I'm writing on the same PPT.
ఇప్పటివరకైతే ఏం కనిపించలేదు. పీపీటీ కనిపిస్తుంది నాకు.
Okay, just leave it then. Maybe it is not visible. Okay.
మామూలుగా చెప్పలే, ఏం పర్లేదు.
Yeah, that's what. One minute. Visible? Hello?
కనిపిస్తుంది.
Okay.
కనిపిస్తుంది.
So now, simple, what I'm saying, for example, just imagine you typed single quote Chaitanya. When you execute it, what do you get? Chaitanya only, right?
Same thing.
Now when with your see Chaitanya and product manager at Volvo, so these things you want to type in new line Chaitanya and below product manager below Volvo. Is it possible to do? Normally without
No.
special characters? Is it possible? Not possible.
No.
Not possible. What you have to do? Chaitanya /n product manager /n finally Volvo. Then execute. Then it will give you that whatever you are expecting. Now the thing is, but the problem is when you are dealing with the files, you have one file in your system. Normally, what is the path of that file? C.// location name or folder name / folder name / file. So when you give this as a string, obviously we give it as a string only because files deal with the strings. So you give it as a string. In that case, how does it consider? It is just /. Now // we are using it as an escape sequence. So it doesn't consider it as a path. Got it? So now to make this as a path, we use R. It's called a raw string. What this does is, whatever that things means, that special character, if you give /, it is creating some new things now. That kind of nature it will remove. So now with R, see here you can see here R, and whatever path you want to give, you put it in a single quote and give. Then it will consider it as a path, and it will go to that path and find that file. Got it?
Okay.
It is very important. That's the reason I'm saying. So that escape sequences we will check. For that we use /, and we add different aspects to get the different sequences. If you give only simple /, it will just ignore it and it will continue that line. That's what I'm saying. Chetu. Here, if you give C:// new text.dt, then it doesn't take it as a path. It doesn't take it as a path because when you give a single /, it will ignore. It will take it as a single line. Then how can this file? How can we can access that file? That's difficult. For that, they made another object. That is R string. That is the benefit. Now it's clear, na? It's better, na? So now the second thing is, if you have a double /, then it will include one slash. Means if you write a string Chaitanya double / product manager double / Volvo, in that case, what will happen is, when you execute it, you will get Chaitanya single / product manager single / Volvo. Got it now? Similarly, if you use single quote, / single quote, whatever you put, that will be in a single quote. If it is double quote, whatever you put, that will come as a double quote. If you use a backspace, then it will give a backspace to your string. If it is new line, we have discussed already. Chaitanya /n, Kakinada /n, and Andhra Pradesh. It will give, when you execute it, you will get it Chaitanya in first line, Kakinada in second line, and other one is in third line. R carrier return, that means Chaitanya /r Kakinada. Then when you execute it, you will get only Kakinada. And horizontal tab. This will make tab space, and this will give you a vertical tab space. So these are all about. So we have completed the strings. We will just have a brief summary. What is string? String is an ordered collection of characters, and it is a text-based representation for us. So, and second thing is, it is immutable. We will see what is mutability later. It is immutable. Just remember that. And What is the expression for string single quote or double quote or triple quote? And we cannot we cannot embed special characters. So that is the reason what we do is we use a escape sequences to input to include backspace, new line, single quote, double quote, and these kind of things in our strings. And to escape these, to suppress these escape sequences, what there is a new type of string. It's called raw strings. So this is all we have discussed in raw strings, and this is all about it. And as we have discussed string, now what we will talk is strings in action. What we have discussed till now is the state, is the nature, is the attribute of the string. Now what we will discuss is behavior, because string is an object, na? So that is the reason. So now again, what we have to do is every object has similar kind of behaviors only, but for them, for different aspect, for different objects, it will vary with their specificity. So now, in summary, these are the type of behaviors the strings has. First one is basic operation. Second one is indexing and slicing. Third one is typecasting. Fourth one is character code conversion. Fifth one is string formatting. And the last is type specific method. And means these methods are only applicable to strings, whereas remaining behaviors by and large applicable to all other objects. Clear? So now, what is basic operations? Basic operation, finding the length of string, concatenating the two strings. Chaitanya plus Kakinada will give Chaitanya Kakinada. And third one is repeating Chaitanya times 5, you'll get 5 times Chaitanya. These are basic operation. These are common for all objects. Now we will enter into indexing and slicing. Indexing and slicing by and large, you know. But we will have a see how it works. Indexing, we have in indexing because this is applicable to only for sequential and only for collections. After that, we'll see whether it is sequence or mapping or some other aspect. It is indexing and slicing is only applicable for the collection. What is collection? Collection means it consists, it can collect some other objects together and store it in one place. Is it not the collection? What is your cloth collection? What is your book collection? What is your grocery collection? What is your mobile collection? That is what the collection is. So now, in that collection, for indexing, in collections, it will have a off-site indexing, have a forward indexing or reverse indexing. So here, if you see clearly, your first character index is 0. Okay. And that's forward and it goes on. And similarly, if it is a reverse indexing, it comes from right to left. In that case, the first one takes -1. You can see here, you can see here. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is forward indexing. Yes. And -1, -2, -3 is reverse indexing. Why I am not stressing or focusing on indexing and slicing these kind of topics, because now I want to give you a bigger picture of the Python, so that once you got to know what it is, after that, whatever the internal components, you can get it. See, for example, you have a machine, so the machine has a plenty of components. If you don't know how the overall mission works, how each communicates, then if you understand only engine, what you can do? What you can do? As a mechanic, what you can do? Nothing. Maximum, if anyway, the problem will be connected with other aspect also. It is not with a single. So that is the reason first you know about all components, then we can focus on the individual component. So this is indexing and slicing. For indexing, we use this expression S square bracket, and you will put the index number. And here you can clearly see indexing. If you want to fetch the first item, you will use 0. If you want to fetch the last item, you use -2 from right side, reverse indexing. That is one way. In addition to that, you can fetch. This is indexing. If you want to take slice of it, slice. Here we have a slice of spam. If you want to take slice of it, then you use starting character and ending starting index and then ending index to get the slice. That's called slicing because you are slicing your string. If you take single character, it's called indexing. Clear? So this is our indexing and slicing. Now what we see is typecasting. Typecasting is nothing but we have discussed before. If you have int, call the int and mention it inside a string, it can convert into int. Similarly, if you take just int 42, if you call string, then it will convert into string. So you can convert from int to string, string to int, float to string, string to float. This is called typecasting. This is very much useful when we are making modules and when we are writing modules. Okay. So next thing is character code conversion. This is basically you have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. With using these numbers, we can create alphabets, or not only alphabets, whatever there in Unicode. Many characters we can make. For example, here, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You have done one. You have done this thing also, na, in that class. So the same thing, character code conversion. Then the next thing is string formatting. Here I did not mention how you format, that we'll see. But string format is formatting the existing string. That I will show you how to do that. Now we will see type specific method. S is your string. For example, S is Chaitanya. Okay. When you give capitalize, what is capitalize? Now you tell me. Is it behavior or state?
State.
We are calling it. It does something. We are not just calling attributes. We are not just calling attributes. Means whether, see, when I say this, what we are doing, we here Chaitanya is there. When you give this call, capitalize call, then it will convert Chaitanya to upper. Upper means
Uppercase.
the first, not completely uppercase. In sentence case means
The
the
first letter
so
will
that
be
means
capital.
it is doing some action. It is behaving. So it's a behavior. So that's why all methods are behavioral. So you call them. For states, you don't need to call. Means you don't need to use that. You don't need to use this parenthesis. Clear, na? So similarly, you have a center. This is also behavior. Here count. It will count. Then expand tabs. Find. It will find some character. See here. This is what I'm talking. Yes. Dot format. For example, just example. Imagine age. Age. 26. Okay. Job, product manager, name Chaitanya. These are the three variables we assigned. Now what we want is, we want to create a string that says Chaitanya is of age 26 and working as a product manager. So for that, to make that string, we can simply write a string here and put dot, and then in bracket whatever variables you have mentioned now, age, name, job, those can be given, and it will format the string. This, once we do practically, then you can understand better. But what you have to get is what all behaviors your string object has. That's what my main intention is. Index, to get the index. Is all numeric? Is alpha numeric? It is to check. It will give you the true or false. Same alpha, decimal. These are all of same thing. And lower method will give
true or false ఇస్తాయి.
True or false. It will check whether it is alphanumeric or whether it is alpha, whether it is decimal, whether it is digits. And R split. It will split based on the separator you are given. If you give space, it will split it based on space. If you mention comma, it will split it based on this thing. For example, you got some data from internet. You want to convert that paragraph into words. So each word is separated by space. Just use R split and convert it into list of words. Same this thing. So this is all about the string objects. We have covered everything. Other than that, we have done any practical work on it. But as a string object, we have seen everything. So now what we have discussed, what is string? And then what does it consist of? How you write it? And what is rastering, and what kind of special characters you use it, and in action, what all those action is nothing but behavior. What all those behaviors? You do basic operations, you do slicing and indexing, you do typecasting, you do character code conversion, you do string formatting. Other than that, string has its own specific methods. That's what you have seen. Clear? So now we will see list again. Lists are again collection. String is a collection. List is also a collection. But this is more flexible than your string, because in string you cannot use some special characters. Whereas in list you can use anything. You can use any sort of thing. So you can do all operations. Now we will talk about the mutability and immutability. So strings can't change in place, whereas lists can change. So why I kept this topic for now is, for example, you have done so many, you have executed so many programs on this. If you remember, for loop or while loop, you take for while loop, you take empty list, yes or no? You take empty list, you do some operation with that logic, you will add that objects into your list, yes or no? Can you do that with strings? Impossible. That is why it's immutable.
Oh no, no, yes, 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 yes. Oh no.
I'm not talking about the concatenation. You can add two
Hmm.
strings. I'm saying Chaitanya. Take Chaitanya. Add A, B at the end. Is it possible in the same string? In place. In place. That's why it's
Mhm.
immutable. Not
You need to
concatenation.
first
Concatenation is a behavior.
you need to first
Concatenation
take
is,
A, add
yeah.
it, and again you need to take B, then you need to add it again.
That's what you have to you have to define two objects and then you can concatenate.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that you add it in the same object. You can do it with list.
Mhm.
You 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 make a list, empty list, then you can keep on adding any number of uh, objects to it. But whereas strings, it's not possible. In place to that object, it
Hmm.
is impossible. So that's why it's called immutable. This is mutable. This is the major difference. Both are collections. Both are collections. But that is immutable. This is mutable. Now, some specific property we have discussed. Ordered collection of arbitrary objects means in list you can put everything. Everything means everything. Whatever available, whatever objects that are available in Python, you can put everything. It is also ordered collection. And we can access by offset. You know offset. Offset is nothing but
Hmm.
indexing. In indexing, it starts with 0, no?
Hmm.
It doesn't start with 1. It starts with 0. That's why
Oh
it's called
no.
offset. And it can have variable length, heterogeneous, arbitrarily nestable. The second most important property is arbitrarily nestable. These are all states of your list. State. These are all state. What kind of object it is? It is it is arbitrarily nestable. You can put any type of object. You can put tuple in it. You can put list in the list. That's what. And it's a mutable sequence. Whereas list not. Okay. So these are the basic understanding about the list. Now we will see meaning of certain expressions. This is called empty list. Okay. We call it
Hmm.
as an empty list. This is 2-item list with indexes 0 and 1 because offset indexing. And this is nested
Hmm.
list, nested sublist. The names are also important because see, as you start writing programs, as we are working with working on projects with within a team, how do you communicate? You need a name. That's the reason we are discussing nested sublist. And this is
Hmm.
list of iterable means when you give list and any string, it will make a h comma a comma r comma e. Clear?
Hmm.
List of range. I have told you before. Range is a generator, and if you want 0 to 5, 0 to 4, those each number, then you have to use list, or else it will create an object. But it doesn't give you a list or a numbers. So to get that numbers, you have to use a list or tuple, whichever it may be. What is this? L sub I is index. L sub I sub j is index of index. This is slice. L sub I through j is called slice.
Hmm.
Length of L, it will give you length. So this is all about the list. The means states and character of the list. Now we'll go to the list in action. Same, by and large, same. Other than one action, one behavior, other than one behavior, rest all same type of category we have. Basic operation, length, there also same. Concatenation, there also same. Repetition, there also same. In addition to that, what concatenation we can do is, if you take string of list and another string, we can concatenate as a string. Similarly, a list. You see here, this example. Okay. So the basic operations remain same. Next, indexing. Indexing and slicing. Is it necessary to talk more about this? By and large, same.
Strings like a
By and large, same. But there, each and it's a single character. Here, these are objects again. That is the difference. But everything remains same. Indexing and slicing. Next is the most important topic. This is specific to list. From it, comprehensions are also there for the other objects also. So this is list iteration and comprehension. Iteration means repeating the same thing until it is completed. That's the iteration. So comprehension. So comprehension is using iteration to do some operation. Now, for just take one example here. Look at here. Let list iteration and comprehension block. Look at this here. One example for X in list of 1, 2, 3 colon, and then indentation and print statement we have. So here it has given 1, 2, 3. This is an example of iteration. Now see here below that you used list expression. That's a square bracket. And use the for loop and do, and you're done a kind of loop kind of operation there also. Okay. But what is the difference? The difference you can see is here below. Come here. You have taken a empty list. Yes or no?
We have added everything in that list.
Now what you do is, what you have done is, you used for loop and appended to that list. Yes or no? Then you got this result. Now it took almost 3 lines of code to do this. Yes or not? You can do the same code in single line. That is called list comprehension. You see, to make this one, you have created almost 4 lines. You see this result, and you got the same result. That's how it's benefits. Of course, it is also a iteration, a loop kind of operation, but it creates only list, whereas for loop doesn't create any specific type of object. After that, you can convert into either list or tuple, any other type. But whereas list comprehension creates only list. Clear? Similarly, we have a typecasting. Typecasting is nothing but again converting other object into this object. So here we have our type specific methods. These methods are applicable to only list. The first one is append, which appends we know, and second one is sort. This one is extend, means it will add this 4, 5 to that existing list. Insert, insert this at this index. This is finding an index. Count the this object, how many times it is there in that list. Reverse the list, pop out certain number which is at this index 3. Pop out means take out that and show us. Whereas remove, it won't show. It will just remove it. That is the difference between pop and remove. Clear, copy, and other. Here is the one example. So with